Today I'm going to show you, using my template, how to make some Christmas decorations. You should be able to download the template sheet afterwards. Okay, firstly we're going to start with the diamond template that you can see. All the pieces that you're going to need and the instructions are all clearly written on the sheet. You can see some examples that I've got here. This one's using a straight stitch as a spiral shape, and then you can also see the other shapes above. So you need to make yourself a little template using the sheet, and then you're going to cut some felt shapes. Just pin them over and use the scissors and just trim round until you've got your diamond shape. The other things that you'll need are maybe some seed beads, you'll need embroidery silks, and you'll need some sort of hanging string or a little bit of ribbon. You can get all sorts of things like that. You can see on the little demonstration here I've got two types of stitches. We've got a stitch with a gap and we've got a running stitch. So I'm just going to show you very quickly how I do that. I've threaded the needle already, I will show you how to do that later on. So you're just going to come in and out and leave an even sized gap as you work your way along. I'm just going to do 3 quick stitches just to give you an idea. Try and keep them straight as you can in a line. If you need to, you can draw with pencil and very faintly and use that as a guide. When you're doing the spiral shapes, more complicated shapes, I would advise you do it that way. This is just to show you now, as they run together you come back over your stitch, go through and come back to the stitch before, so you're drawing a straight line with the stitches, and you can keep going and going and going, and that's how we're going to do the spiral. You're going to do a nice shape on your diamond, and then we're going to stitch them together after. So I'm just going to show you now the next stage. If you draw a little line as a practice, I've done a little wavy line here with just a black pen, or you can use a Sharpie, or like I say, you can use a pencil. Come in from the back first, and then you're going to do your stitch where you're going in and then you're coming back to meet the next one. So keep coming from the back, going back to the stitch before and following your line. I'm just moving it slightly, so I'm keeping the fabric even so I can see exactly where I'm putting my needle in each time. So I'll just do that for a few seconds just to give you an idea that you can do any shape. We're starting very basic this time, but we will move through the fact sheet and show you different decorations you can make, or little gifts that you can make for Christmas. Okay, so like I said before, we've got our 2 felt diamonds, and we're going to do the design on one, that will be the front, and then we're going to attach the back one afterwards. I'm using a very fine Sharpie pen here. I find that just gives me a fine line just to follow, that you can just use as your traceable shape. Follow it around with your stitches, and then it will be invisible behind the stitches afterwards. Hopefully you can see that I've just drawn that freehand. I've tried to keep the margin of the spiral as even as I can. Have a practice on a piece of paper first if you're not sure. I've got some pale green cotton, or you can use embroidery silks. There is a difference in the price. The embroidery silk is a little bit more expensive, but you get a nice shine on it. Or the embroidery cottons you can buy in the pound shop sometimes in big bags, just to have a practice with to start off with. And you get a few different colours for a couple of £. Okay, I'm just threading the needle here and just cutting off a small length really. Don't have too much cotton on your needle each time. So I'm just going to pinch it together and then tie a small knot at the end, and that will be invisible because it will be on the inside of your decoration. Okay. So I'm starting from the centre, and I'm going to work my way out in a spiral shape. Keep pulling, keeping your cotton even as you can all the way around. So I'll just do a couple of stitches and then I'll come back and show you what it's looking like. So I've done the spiral all the way around, and now I've ended up coming back to the middle because I'm going to attach a little tiny seed bead, just as a little bit of extra bling to your decoration. You can use sequins, you can use buttons, you can use just the embroidery silks, but as you can see in the one above, I've used an orange and yellow silk together, or I've done one with blue. Match it to your Christmas scheme, or if you're doing them as gift tags, match it to your papers that you've bought. I'm just going through the seed bead a couple of times to make sure it's nicely secured. Give it a little bit of a tug, because sometimes it doesn't quite come through first time, and keep straightening things up and keeping everything even. As you can see, the back of the decoration isn't always very tidy, so it doesn't matter, no one will see that, it will be buried beneath the other layer. So I'm going to just show you now. You can see I've done some little running stitches all the way around with the other colour. I've started to attach the decorations together. Just put one over the other and pin them together and then start stitching. I've got some nice gold string thread to make the decoration hanging part. I'm just going to finish doing my stitches around the edge. Keep the felt 2 layers together between your thumb and your finger as best as you can to keep it nice and even and work your way around. So I've changed my mind, I've decided to go for a bit of sparkly ribbon. So I've come to the top, I've left myself a little gap, and I'm just going to tuck a little bit in, and again hold it tightly between my thumb and my finger, then pin it securely into place, and then I'm going to finish with the stitch, and this time the stitch is going to be going through the 2 layers of ribbon as well, so just take your time and keep your stitches as even as you can to hold it securely into place. You will need to give it a little bit of a tug with the embroidery thread here. Okay, so you can just see I've just gone through the ribbon on that piece, and then I'm going to work my way back to where we started and show you how to finish the piece off. And that's your first very basic diamond shaped Christmas either gift tag or decoration for the tree. All the techniques I use in the following videos will go over these original sewing ideas, so we're going to make some other shapes off the fact sheet. I'll just show you how I come to the end now. We've gone through the ribbon, and then we'll just work our way down. Remember, when we're leaving a gap with the stitch, this is where we're doing a stitch, leaving a gap and coming back up from the back. So it's just nice, tidy, holding together stitch. You can, if you really want to, get some toy stuffing, wadding, and actually stuff these little decorations, and you would do it just after you've attached the ribbon. Pop a little bit in, squidge it all in, and you can make a little fat decoration then, like a little pillow. I'm just showing you, I'm going through in between the 2 layers of felt here, right to the opposite edge, pulling it evenly, so that's a nice even last stitch, and then just going up a little bit and threading the needle back through. And that just secures the whole piece, and it allows you to finish it off without having an end where there's a knot or anything like that showing. So I'm just going to pull it back a tiny bit and give it a snip with the scissors, and then just pull all the felt, make the shape really nice, and just check the ribbon's nice and tight for it to hang onto the tree. This is a nice project to do with older children. They'll probably be able to manage to do some basic sewing techniques. They can do their own designs on paper and trace them through and copy. And they're all based off that basic diamond. Thank you for watching.